Yo guys, this is Orbit here from TGN, and in this video we're going to be talking about PvP scrimmages and competitive PvP. This I thought would be an important video because lots and lots of people are doing PvP but in their comfort zones, and I'm going to go and explain to you a little bit about the comfort zones and taking yourself out of those comfort zones to be the best possible person and player, skillful player that you can be. Okay, so let's talk about comfort zones. When you have a group, whether that's a league group or a pre-made group, you're going to queue in with your controller so you can get some power. You're going to queue in with your healer, and hopefully all roles if you're doing 4v4 or 5v5. Which means you've got a very good chance of beating pug groups because they're just going to come in. It's probably like 3 DPSs, a troll, and tank, or some random setup, and you can beat them fairly easily. You might get lucky and get another pre-made, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a pug group, and they're not going to know what they're doing. You're going to have some person in the back who's not really fighting and running around the arena to check out the sights. So that's not really a challenge. That's good fun. I like to do that lots of times as well. Go in and just smash just smash the pugs up. That's always great fun, and you need to kind of do that to get your PvP boxes each week and that kind of stuff. However, if you want you and your team to be the best, you need to scrimmage and do competitive PvP, and I don't mean 1v1s or 2v2s. They're good fun and everything, and yeah, there's a sense of accomplishment when you kind of win a 1v1 or whatever, but I'm talking about rounding yourself as to be the most skillful player you possibly can be, and that's at 4v4 competitive PvP and 5v5 scrimmages. These two maps separate the men from the boys as far as I'm concerned. Get yourself doing scrimmages, guys, with your league. Okay, if you think you're the best, prove you're the best, and don't prove it in a 1v1. That, to be fair, that doesn't prove anything. If you can go into a 4v4 scrimmage with your group and beat other top leagues, that's when you start earning some respect. That's when you start getting noticed in PvP. Yeah, so I'm trying to encourage people to do scrimmages. If you'd like a scrimmage and you're a bit nervous because you think you're going to go on YouTube, send me a message, guys, and I will scrimmage you without the PVR on, no problem, just to get you guys in. If it gets more people scrimmaging, then I'll happily do that. Yeah. So let's go back to the comfort zones. When you're pugging, you're in your comfort zone. The other group are all over the place. So let's take, for example, a healer. This healer is going into a 4v4 and against a pug group. Does really, really well. Wins all of his games. Well done to him. Now, he can only get so good by doing things like that because he's not pushing himself to where he needs to be at the top level. And what I mean by that is if he was to scrimmage a 4v4, he would have the controller debuffing. He would probably have a DPS on him, smashing him down. You've got a kite around, you've got a heal, there's going to be an increased amount of damage going on. It's so hard. You've got to throw in block breaks, all this kind of stuff that you need to kind of think about that you wouldn't think about if you're in a pug group. So for this, I'm trying to encourage scrimmages and PvP competitively at the top level. I actually did that top 10 DPS's PvP DPS video the other day, yesterday, and people disagree. You're never gonna do a top 10 and everyone say yes, that is the top 10. That's never going to happen, so I kind of expected that, but bear in mind, some of the people you're saying do not scrimmage at top level, and in order to be in the top 10, worthy of the top 10, you have to scrimmage. You have to scrimmage and play the best, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go about rules. Let's talk about the rules. So first of all, no DLC 6. So no sidekicks, no backup, no supply drops. Just completely take that off your loadout. There's too many people that go in and say, oh, I accidentally clicked a supply. Why have you got that on your loadout anyway? Just completely take them off. There's a lot of lag that goes into 5v5s and stuff, and to be fair, we want to try and make the scrimmages as fair as possible. You know, not everyone has got DLCs and stuff, so just take your DLC 6 off and make it as fair as possible and reduce the lag. Also, talking about lag, take away your pets as well, unless it's a pet that you kind of would need for your power. For example, Crystal for an earth tank, and you know, Watcher for a sorcerer healer is another example of that. So minimize the lag, get rid of, you know, the pets that you don't need. Another rule that's frowned upon is your movement debuff, which is kind of fairly new to the movement trees. So, you know, to be fair, just take them off and everyone's happy. But apart from that, you can use your buffs, okay, come prepared, build up your supercharge and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, let's do some more scrimmages, guys, and build up the standard of the PvP community. Apart from that, guys, like, comment, subscribe.